Bé, bona tarda a totes, a tots. Welcome to everyone. Aquesta és la sessió que clausura la itinerància a Barcelona de la residència Delta, del projecte que s'està portant a terme des de primers d'aquest any. I bueno, és un plaer per mi, com a responsable de l'associació GISER, que forma part d'aquest grup de treball, doncs, donar-vos la benvinguda i compartir doncs, aquesta experiència avui. Abans que res, comentar que la llengua que utilitzarem avui estarà combinada entre català, francès i també anglès. Ajudarem a la traducció en els casos que sigui necessari i intentarem que sigui el més fluid possible. Val? Els participants us demanaríem que tinguéssiu el micro tancat i que poguéssiu clicar el botó de participació quan vulgueu participar sense cap mena de problema, i informar-vos també que la sessió serà enregistrada i que després estarà disponible també a YouTube. Okay? Juste une petite introduction de comment ça se passe avec le fonctionnement, les langues utilisées, catalan, français, anglais. On aidera un peu avec la traduction. Juste si vous pouvez avoir les mics en silence et juste lever la main quand vous voulez participer, ça sera plus simple pour tout le monde. Et la séance sera enregistrée et diffusée après sur YouTube, sur le canal de Delta. And I will speak in English right now just to introduce the project because it's easier for everyone, so I will do it this way. Delta is a residency project that was born with some discussions last year with Christian Pons, responsible for the House Cultural in Es Mercadal, Menorca, and also Antoine Marchand, director of Centre d'Art Le Lait in Albi, in France, where we were just sharing possible ways to develop a project that could approach these territories, no? In the visual arts space. No? We think and we detect that these regions are neighbors and really close in the ground, but maybe some is far, no, to meet other artists and other institutions that are running projects. So we wanted, with this residency program, to help and support visual artists, young visual artists, to develop an experience that took place in Menorca, in Es Mercadal, for 2 months in August and September this year. And they had the chance to make a research, an experience of exchange, knowing better the island and the traditions of the island and other professions that were maybe lost, and also experimenting some different actions. So we thought it was the best way to gather all them together and to create some seeds that with the time maybe they will evolve and give place to other collaborations and other projects, hopefully. This should be the itinerancy of the project here in Barcelona for this period. Unluckily, as all you know, with the COVID, we couldn't prepare the exhibition that was supposed to take place in Centre Cívic Forpienc here in Barcelona, and with this exhibition also to spend like some days of gatherings and meetings with not only between the artists and the teams, but also with art professionals here in Barcelona and in Catalunya. This was not possible for the context, but we reached to organize these online meetings that we are doing since last week, and that where we invited some experts that shared experiences on Monday with the artists, and we created this way some shared spaces in the online format. Just to let you know, these materials will be after online. We would prefer to do it in the physical way, in the old style, but as you know, this is not possible. And we are trying to do this the more most fruitful for everyone. What to say? Just to keep in mind the main objectives of this project, that is Delta, are residents. The main objectives were to create a network between these three regions, so Occitanie, les Îles Balears, and Catalunya, and that through the main partners of the project. We wanted to strengthen the context between the artists and associations, collectives of these three territories in the field, and also create a good place, a good space where to exchange and improve some practices that are taking place, not only in these three regions, but also with the open networks that all of the three partners have already with other parts of the territories, Mediterranean, in Europe, in other places. So we think together is better because we can put in the same place needs and also far objectives. So this is regarding the project. I will now give the word to my colleagues, first to Antoine Marchand, the director of Centre d'Art Lelay, and just after to Christian Pons in Es Mercadal right now. Okay. Thank you very much. Merci, Antoine.
Okay, I'm gonna maybe do it in English or so. It would be easier, I guess. Thank you for the general presentation. It's my first online opening, so it's a bit weird, but it's really strange because this project was really dedicated to this discovery of a specific territory that I haven't seen by myself. We were supposed with Xavier to go to Minorca and then to have this second step in Barcelona and meet everyone and discuss with everyone. And finally, it's just online meetings. I have just seen pictures of the work, so it's really frustrating. And I really hope that we will be able to do the show in LB and gathering everybody here in March. I really hope so. So I haven't so much to say. I just would like to thank all the different partners that are part of this really nice residency program. Thank, of course, the artists for their commitment and the really interesting works that they have produced during this residency, and thank Xavier and Christian for the support during this really difficult period. I really hope that it's going to be the end soon and that we will be able to meet shortly. So thank you to everybody, and I'll let Christian.
Bueno, hola a tots i totes. Jo faré la presentació en català. Moltes gràcies per estar aquí en aquesta presentació online, primer de tot, tots els artistes i els responsables de les altres parts d'aquest projecte, i el Ramon Llull i la regió que no ha pogut venir, però que esperem que a l'Albi sí que puguin ser-hi físicament i que nosaltres també hi puguem ser. La situació no és gens fàcil. La residència s'havia pensat des d'un inici amb un model que ja havíem fet diversos anys a Menorca, amb una residència entre illes, que es deia Illes d'Art, i aquest format el que pretenia era d'obrir aquestes relacions, en lloc d'entre illes, obrir-les a territoris euroregionals. No sé, Xavi, si vols dir 4 paraules.
En relació a la residència, vols que tradueixi ara? Potser no?
No, la part de residència.
Bé, just to Christian introduce ASFAR and the first part of the project, which is really interesting because ASFAR were already developing a residency program between the 4 islands of the Balearic Islands, Illes d'Art, and that was a strong basis for the project, and that gives a lot of answers why they are now opening and connecting with other regions. I think in our case, it's also fluid, natural. As G said, we also develop a residency program, but looking to the south of Mediterranean. So for us, it's also a very well-known format, or we are really used to working this kind of scenarios with different artists from different cities. And so I think that this background gives us gives the birth to a new project that is Delta Art, and which is now in the first edition, but we are looking forward to continue with time in next years. Christian?
No, exacte. La relació que teníem entre illes, volíem que tant els artistes de les Illes Balears com altres artistes es poguessin aprofitar de la nostra experiència fent aquest tipus de residència, ajudant també a internacionalitzar els artistes des de diferents nivells, no? Des de Catalunya, d'Occitània i dels artistes de Balears cap a fora. No? Això era l'objectiu principal. Crec que l'anirem assolint a mesura de que les edicions vagin passant, com dius, i a mesura que el projecte es consolidi si la pandèmia ens ho permet. No? Crec que això queda clar. Després, nosaltres, quan rebem artistes, sí que ens interessa molt que els artistes coneguin bé la illa i una part molt important és l'acompanyament. No? I crec que això és una cosa que vull destacar, tant la feina que han fet els artistes en la investigació que han realitzat a Menorca els hi ha permès a ells personalment conèixer millor la illa i d'aquesta manera també la podran mostrar millor allà on vagin les obres. No?
Mm-hmm. Actually, Christian is highlighting the importance of the knowledge of the island and how is essential this accompaniment. In English, I don't know the word. So the going close with the artist with a strong program of actions that can connect these artists in residence with the field, no? With the local traditions, with the local scene and the context.
I bé, en aquest punt, la primera itinerància, que vam mostrar ara, és a Barcelona, per mostrar els resultats, no? En teoria això és una exposició, no? Mostrar resultats dels projectes d'investigació d'aquestes obres, que després explicaran els artistes, que són obres que tal vegada tenen un recorregut, tenen un procés, la majoria no estan acabades, i que tenen una continuïtat. I després, la segona itinerància, a l'ELE, en el mateix sentit. No? I bé, jo només agrair-vos que estigueu aquí i que el record de la residència dels 2 mesos és molt bo, és positiu, i ara, si de cas, podem veure aquest teaser, no? D'un documental que vam estar gravant, que tots som protagonistes, i que podem veure un poc un primer tast de lo que podrà ser.
Okay, so Christian is just presenting the teaser of the documentary that you realized during the residency program in Menorca, and thanking everyone for the collaboration, because the feelings are really good. So I will share this video with you, and we will after give the word to Eva Soria. And let me check. Compartir pantalla. Aquí.
Doncs quan jo vaig arribar jo tenia clar que jo volia treballar amb el tema de la imatge contemporània. Imatge contemporània parlo potser no tant dins del món de l'art contemporani, sinó més en la imatge que la gent està creant ara mateix en relació amb internet, a les redes socials, a les pantalles intel·ligents.
Bé, jo vaig venir amb una proposta molt oberta, de qualque manera amb l'objectiu que se pogués afectar o se deixés afectar per una recerca més situada, no? Amb el territori, amb les persones que vivim aquí, però també amb aquell lloc, xerrant també amb gent que específicament se dedica en aquest àmbit i que forma part de la seva vida diària i que ho fa crec que des d'uns mètodes que són molt propers.
Has de sembrar, de recollir, has de recollir, has de fer ensilats, has de fer pa, has de fer gra, has de fer altres, aquí fas de tot. Jo som tot sol, veiem nois de matins i jo ho faig tot. Som agricultors, som ganader, som els comptables, som els qui compra, els qui ven, fas tot. El gestor, és que ho fas tot. I després hi ha propietaris, que que posen la terra. I normalment aquí es fa alguna típica, són les mitges típiques de Menorca. El propietari posa la terra, posa les instal·lacions, posa la feina i després els gastos i els beneficis se van repartir entre mitges, 50%.
Jo he arribat aquí a Menorca amb la intenció d'investigar quines són aquelles estructures que permeten que la distribució de l'aigua, tant dintre de l'illa com aquella que ve des de fora de l'illa o com aquells processos que passen dins de l'illa van acabar fora i el que he fet des que he arribat és anar atenent diferents espais i pràctiques i infraestructures que estan vinculades al tema de l'aigua. La intenció amb aquest cotxe és customitzar-lo a través amb ampolles de plàstic que he anat recopilant del consum de la residència i transformar-lo així en una ampolla de plàstic amb rodes i posar-lo en circulació amb aquells espais dintre de l'illa que estan vinculats a la gestió de l'aigua, per si entre el contrast entre la botella mòbil i el seu fons genera algunes tensions així discursives per parlar i problematitzar el tema de l'aigua.
Jo ja venc amb un poema escrit que estava inspirat en una sèrie de temes personals barrejat amb el paisatge. I també com la climatologia és molt semblant a Mallorca, Menorca, també m'inspira a fer aquesta creació d'una pel·lícula en Super 8 que faré. I, aquest dia, diguéssim, entre els companys i companyes, el paisatge, i he començat a perfilar i a definir més el poema que tenia escrit i a gravar uns sons ambients.
A few weeks in, I have started doing latex, like prints, I guess you could say, of parts of my body, mostly my face, since I got here as like a daily practice that I do. And in doing this, I've just been thinking a lot about the idea of molting, like animals who lose their skin, like snakes and lizards and stuff. And how usually when an organism loses its skin or its shell, it's a process of growth or transformation. And I've just been thinking about molting as a means of actually just staying the same every day.
Y los ayuntas.
6 y 6.
Sí.
Ok.
bastant apretat, ara quan ho tinguem...
Com l'has fet el primer tren?
Agafes 3?
3 que no 6.
Sí, del mateix diàmetre si pot ser. Vale, i ara comences, una damunt l'altra.
En général, quand je vais quelque part ou quand je suis en résidence, la façon que j'ai de travailler, c'est de voir quelles sont les ressources disponibles sur place. Les ressources, ça veut aussi bien dire les ressources naturelles que les déchets, que c'est vraiment ce qui est spécifique au lieu.
Bé, gràcies, Cristian, per compartir el teaser, el primer teaser del documental. És un material que està en procés també i que es presentarà al final de l'estada de residència. Estem parlant que aquest projecte d'itinerar encara a Albi, a França, i durant aquests mesos que venen per davant es treballarà en acabar aquest documental i també amb l'edició final, el catàleg amb els continguts que ha generat a nivell de recerca, material gràfic i altres reflexions al voltant del projecte de l'obra dels artistes. I would like to share the mic with Eva Soria now, who is representing Institut Ramon Llull. Gràcies pel suport que ens heu donat al projecte i res, endavant, Eva, quan vulguis.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the Institut Ramon Llull, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's the Arts Council of Catalonia. What we do is support arts and contemporary arts, as well as all the other artistic fields, such as like cinema, theater, music, literature. Every time that there is a project that's so interesting like this one, where there is an exchange between artists from Catalonia and artists of other parts of the world, we try to find a way to support those projects. We firmly believe that it's the exchange in culture and the fact that you guys, the artists, have been able to share a space and a time and have been lucky enough to have this like parenthesis or like this, the month of August when the world was looking like normal again, which clearly was just like a mirage, right? But anyway, it is very important that artists from everywhere in the world work together, because through culture, it's not only the artists that have a benefit of working together, it's the rest of us. Only through culture and only through cultural exchange, we will move forward as democratic societies. So, you all know that it's very hard to find the means to put together a project like this. One of the main problems of our society is that culture is like seriously underfunded. So we hope that with our contribution, we encourage you to do more projects like this. And I really thank you all for your participation in this project.
Thank you, Eva. Moltes gràcies per estar aquí també, per compartir aquest espai amb nosaltres. És important també que des de la institució s'entengui el projecte com algo que és realment un repte, i aquest any ha estat com les dificultats s'han sumat o multiplicat, perquè el projecte havia de començar a principis d'any i amb l'inici de la Covid, de la pandèmia, ens ha agafat amb diferents modificacions per poder-lo tirar endavant en condicions. I aquest miratge que dius, aquest parèntesis que hem pogut viure a l'estiu, sembla increïble i sembla molt llunyà ara, sembla com algo impossible fins i tot que hem pogut realitzar una estada no només pels artistes, però a nivell personal tots nosaltres doncs, hem viscut una treva, no? I ara ens toca doncs, tornar a reservar-nos per la primavera. Hopefully we'll present the works physically in Albi on March, as you said, Antoine. And for us, that will be like the dreamed final of the project, where all of us can join together again, and just because it will be a good news for everyone that we can go in the normal basis of contact and meeting. No? So thank you very much, Eva, for your time, precious time. And now, as you know, we will present shortly the artwork. So every artist will take the word for some minutes. And after we will open a discussion for all the comments that you want to share with the rest of the participants. And let's start with Marta Grimalt. It's your turn.
Hola,
Hola,
em
Marta.
sentiu?
Perfectament.
Vale, és que m'he hagut de moure perquè ha començat a ploure. Vale. Un moment. Espera. Thank you very much for plan this online meeting. And I'm very happy to see you here, even it's through the internet. Do you listen to me correctly? Yes, right? Okay. And what I can say about my artwork is, I did a Super 8 short film, experimental, and I wrote a poem before my arriving to Menorca because I had to really know what I was going to do, because when you work with analog film, you have to count that once you have the material and once you already have filmed it, you have to send it to develop and then to digitalize. So I only had 2 months, so I really had to plan the plan. So yeah, and but I like this kind of work rhythm where I can work quick. I like to work quick, and also effective. And I had the help of Juan and Célie at certain shots where I appear myself. And then I also, when the movie was digitalized, I edit it with my computer, and I love editing, so I really enjoy it. And what I can say is I really like the final result. And I think we can see a part of the video now.
Yes, I will start the screening, and you tell me when you want to stop it.
Okay.
Okay?
Sí.
Let's go.
Tot comença. On la teva ombra apareix, la llum és plena, i cada esquitx, cada gota, s'enfonsa per dir-me que estem plenes de llum i de vida. La separació de mare i pare, dels dibuixos reflex, a la nit de les plantes, en el jardí. No és fàcil l'acceptació, com per qui no és fàcil nedar per primer cop en el mar, quan no ho ha fet mai. Com per qui no és fàcil nedar entre ses zones i no viu de vores mar. Com per qui no és fàcil es vent de tramuntana en ple hivern. Com per qui no és fàcil en recordar-se d'aquest vent en ple estiu, amb ànsies de fred. No tens cap dret d'envair el temps, el procés. No tens cap dret de forçar.
Vale, ja el pots aturar si vols.
Perfecte.
Vale, I want to say something else because before the next turn. I would like to mention that I choose the language of Catalan because I thought, it was interesting and that it will fit the purpose of all the residency to link our culture. And in fact, sometimes I create my art starting from a title, and I start this artwork with a title in Spanish that is Violencia azote costumbrista. That in Spanish sounds more, stronger. But then I thought, I encourage myself to do it in Catalan. And also I would like to mention that I work with symbolism, and as you saw on the teaser, I record some sounds of the nature and stuff that I was touching. And I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Marta. And let's go through, and now it's turn for Darla. Darla?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, well, I hope it works because just 5 minutes ago, well, it's funny that we watched that. Should I speak in English or in French?
As you like. You can use English if you want, and if you do it in French, I will have to translate for a while. Thank you.
Okay, well, I will do it in English, I guess. In the documentary that we watched, it showed the only part of the research that I was doing in the residency that didn't end up being shown in the exhibition. Because the main piece that I worked on while I was in residency was actually a short film that I made. And I often work using video in installations. And this was the first time that I actually made a sort of short film that had some kind of narrative aspect to it, because usually I work in video, but using it more as like a moving image sort of thing. So it was nice to be able to focus on that, and it was kind of a new challenge for me since I don't technically know how to make films. And the film that I made was, it's about 26 minutes long, and it's in 3 parts. And each of the 3 parts is sort of, it's as if I made the same film 3 times, but using sort of different shots. So I can show you a few examples from the film. When I made this, I was really thinking a lot about the kind of inevitable subjectivity that happens whenever we try to tell a story or recount an event. And I think I was sort of thinking a lot about the sort of The fact that it almost seems impossible to attain any kind of objective truth or factual information. Maybe I was kind of frustrated with everything that's been going on politically recently. But anyways, I just sort of started feeling like we're in this sort of phase where anyone can say anything and it doesn't really matter what you say as long as you get people to believe it. So I will share my screen and show you a few images from the movie. Whoa. Okay. Can you see? I can't hear anyone, so I'm just going to assume that it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Okay.
It suddenly faded in like a white noise, like a soft needle prick delivering relief. It sounded clear and flat, definitely a sine wave, circular and calculated like pure air pressure. First, it created everything with its clean, machined resonance. That was the moment when I woke up. There was a nightmare. It was called tradition. Came out of nowhere. Yet I told the story of it over and over and over. I told the story until I believed it myself. The way it happened was this.
I'm going to jump to a sort of next part because I wanted to show you the same sort of intro. So each part of the film, the first part is in English, the second part is narrated in French, and the third part is narrated in Catalan. And I did that also because I'm really interested in the idea of translation and how even starting from the same text, we end up sort of with different impressions and different angles of the same sort of experience. So it was sort of within the theme of what I was focusing on.
Soudain, c'est monté comme un bruit blanc, comme une douce piqûre dispensant le soulagement. Ça sonnait clair et plat, genre un signal sinusoïdal, circulaire et mathématique, comme une pure pression d'air. Ça a d'abord tout créé avec sa résonance usinée, propre. C'est à ce moment-là que je me suis réveillée. Il y avait un cauchemar. Ça s'appelait La Tradition, c'est sorti de nulle part. Pourtant, j'ai raconté l'histoire en...
Just to show you the last excerpt. Whoops.
Es va materialitzar de cop, com un soroll blanc, la suau fiblada d'una agulla que proporciona alleujament. Sonava clar i monòton, una ona sinusoidal, circular i calculada, com una pressió atmosfèrica pura. Primer es va crear tot, amb la seva ressonància neta i maquinal. Aquell va ser el moment en què em vaig despertar. Hi va haver un malson, s'anomenava tradició. Va aparèixer del no-res. Jo, en canvi, explicava la seva història una i una altra vegada. Vaig explicar la història fins creure-me-la jo mateix. La manera en què va passar va ser aquesta.
Anyways, whoa, feedback. Yep, and then I made an installation with that, and the speakers that were playing the sound for the film are actually pieces of mares, which is Menorcan sandstone that I carved and I made speakers out of. So just to show you a last image, it looks like, the installation looks like this. So that's the speakers that I made out of rock, and that was the installation view. And that's it.
Great. Thank you, Darla.
Thank you.
And now it's the turn for Marina. Marina Ribot.
Hola. Gracias,
Buenas.
Javi. Thank you, Marta and Darla, for sharing your project. It's been really weird, but also interesting to see them again from through the screen, but with perspective after months of being created. And I really appreciate it. I don't know why, but I just saw the images and I remember everything we lived there. Anyway, about my project, it's titled Un territori sense Alacant que abraça el món com un lloc sense cos. And it's a video installation that I made during the 2 months I was there. I came with a very open proposal, but after a few weeks, I tried to make it more specific. I being affected by the territory, which I think is something that really happens when you are in Menorca or in the Balearic Island in general, because of the limited natural resources that we have. It's very, and the vulnerability in general of the territory, it's quite easy to feel or to emphasize with this problem. And I think it's something that we all did during the weeks we spent there. And I'm gonna show you the video while I try to explain a little bit why is it. Okay, is it working?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. So, well, what you're seeing is the video that I projected on the altar of the old church in Convento de San Diego. And it was kind of a performance that I had to do when I recorded it, because somehow these hands are penetrating a piece of land by chirurgical material, like the scissors, the staple, and they are cutting, fragmenting the territory that is assimilated in the project to a stick body, to a body that is it's been penetrated by technicalization, by capitalism, by agriculture practices that are not sustainable. And somehow the whole project is a metaphor of it. And well, also about the distribution of plots, which is something that is very, very how do you say it, like something that is an emergency in the territory of Menorca, and it's a discussion that can be in every table, I think, especially in summer when the saturation of the island and its resources are especially in danger. And well, I think that's why this project came at this time. And yeah, I think that's all. I'm coming back.
Gracias, Marina. I don't know if someone wants to add something now in between the two blocks of presentations of the artists. Actually, we can do it now or finish the presentations and open a big discussion, maybe to retake the reflections that we did on Monday, because we started an interesting debate last Monday. Maybe we can retake it at the end of the 6 presentations if you want. It's fine. Yes. Okay. So shall I ask to Célie to present her work now? Célie, t'es prête à présenter ton travail? Dis-nous si tu as besoin d'aide pour le... Voilà, super.
So I'm not going to talk about the resources part again, because I thought it, yeah, I've said it like so many times now that I don't feel like it's relevant anymore. And you heard it in the documentary already. So can you hear me properly? I don't know if it's... Okay, good. So yeah, I guess what I was also interested in Menorca was to try to work with things and materials that were usually used, produced, and transformed in the island or used in the island. And so I worked on a series of objects that were kind of deconstruction of traditional techniques or shapes. And so I'm just going to show you a few pictures. Share screen. Okay, sorry, just a second. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, for example, one of the images I've been working on when I first arrived in Menorca was this picture that was in the dining room where we were staying, and it's a plain picture from the island where you can see the shapes of the walls that are delimiting all the fields in the island. And so those shapes were making me think a lot about the shapes of the gates that they also used to close the fields in Menorca. So I worked with a carpenter with the wood of some old doors to create some new shapes that looked like those drawings from the sky. I will show you pictures later. And I also worked with basket weaver. And this material was very interesting to me because it grows everywhere on the island, but it's protected for ecological reasons. And so all the basket weavers that work with it in Menorca, they either grow it themselves or they buy it at the cooperative. And so I thought it was interesting in terms of resources, those things that are from the island that you can grow, but most of it comes from Spain and from other regions. I also work with some plastic that I collected from the beach. And sorry, it's a bit long, but I'm just trying to show you what the different parts of the work was. And I also work with some plants to make dye. to dye some fabric and to extract something from the from the plants that were growing in Menorca. And so just, yeah, so I'm just showing you pictures from the installation that I did on the roof and not from Alayor, because from the exhibition in Alayor, because it was very different. The Alayor installation was much more theatrical. And when I did this little installation on the roof, it was more to, I mean, the building and the landscape and the object that I had made were kind of working together instead of being installed in some place. So I'm just showing you a few pictures. Okay, and I guess that's it in terms of image. I'm just trying to. How do you take off the?
I guess, yeah, this is the button of.
Yeah.
Just come back, please, from where you are.
Coming back. How?
Stop sharing your screen, maybe on the yeah, this button. Click it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing's happening.
Go to the 3 points on the right.
Before you have to say autorizar, autoriser.
Ah.
Okay. And then you're back. Thank you, Violeta.
Yes. Master.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. So that was a bit weird to present it that way, because I guess the struggle that I had all during the residency was to know what I was doing, because it was a process and I was working on very long processes, precisely. So what was very difficult was to have some perspective on it. So showing you those objects that I worked, that I only finished like a few days before the exhibition, that I haven't seen for 2 months, and show it to you with only pictures. I must admit it's a bit weird and frustrating, but yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
No, sorry. Don't feel sorry. Thank you very much for sharing. I think all of you present your work, but the documentary is also opening this first part of the presentation, so you can complete it, and after we can open the discussion.
Yeah,
yeah, go for it.
No, I was just thinking that when I saw the documentary that I'm very uncomfortable in front of cameras, like I am right now, and I was in the documentary, so I don't know if it's really going to help about my work, but about yours, I'm sure it will.
Don't worry. With the time, you will feel much better with front of cameras. Get
Thank you.
used to it. Thank you, Célie. Merci. Juan, it's now your turn. Adelante. No se te escucha. Prueba, no se oye. No se te oye, Juan. Vuelve a probar. Ahora sí.
Hola.
Sí, el sonido se escucha perfecto. Adelante.
Vale, ¿y ahora me escucháis?
Sí, perfecto.
Okay,
Adelante.
so I will speak in English because it's more easy. So I will do the same presentation on Monday too, because I don't know, I like to connect the ideas that I made. So in the first, I want to show this video that is the classical movie Tiempos Modernos. That is Chaplin, that he works a lot and he started to do the same movement like in an automatic way. So he entered inside the machine. So this is something that is important to me, and it's the idea what is in between us right now, that is a screen that are in the middle between you and me, and so when I arrived to Menorca, I want to work with this topic, with the idea of the representation of the people inside in the system, in an algorithm, in a, how do you say, in Instagram or in Facebook, in the internet. So I decided to mix the question of the all the self-representation and the idea how people represent territory in a social media. In some works, I worked before with the idea of the self-representation, but it's the first time that I work with the relation with a specific part. So I decided to take with chat screens all the pictures that the people take or put in Instagram with the hashtag Menorca. So in the beginning, I want to do all the whole week, but when I complete a day, that is the 15th of August, I realized that for me it's impossible to understand and to work with all this image. Just with one day, I have 1,400 images. So for me, it was not only important to take these pictures, these shot screens, what is also important to organize them. So I decided to show all of them, and I decided to make categories of the image. I didn't go with the image of with the idea of a previous category. I go to find the categories in the image. So how I decide, I create 30 categories to organize them, and the categories are not close. You know, you like someone that saw this archive, you can see the real how do you say, the real boundaries, the real limits between one category and other. So you can see a lot of, I don't know, people eating, food, selfies, representation of the seas, selfies. Also, you can see when I was doing this, I've been like a real 2 weeks just taking shot screens, and I was feeling like a panoptic, you know, because I was like in a house without going out because I have to take all these pictures. That was a lot. But I don't know, I saw in Instagram the king that go to visit Menorca. There was a concert that I saw to Instagram. So I don't know and all these categories of the image, and I don't know, this is the sunsets and yeah. Yeah, if you're interested or question, we can talk later.
Perfecto, Juan. Thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe I want to say something. It's like I understand these pictures like something like working and consume at the same time. So these persons that put these pictures and represent these pictures, I understand them like a workers. And yeah, that's all.
Muchas gracias, Juan. Thank you very much. And let's follow with Roc, the last one. So, endavant.
Vale, gracias, Xavi. Bueno, para empezar, agradecer el poder hacer la itinerancia en Barcelona, aunque sea en formato así en línea y bien distantes. Y quería, bueno, voy a intentar hacer la presentación en inglés, aunque quizás salga un poco alguna aberración. Me disculpo de entrada. Primero, espera, perdona, aquí. I built a small website to show the process of the project work. Since its itinerance to Barcelona has had adopted to the online format, I copy the link in the chat so that you can visit. And this is the web. In the same time, I I share the screen. Okay, this is showing. ¿Se ve?
Sí.
Vale, perfecto. Pues during the Deltart residence program, I have started a research process on water and those elements which we use it. In Minorca, there are no mountains and therefore no rivers. Water has always been taken via drilling into the ground in search of wells or by storing and distributing rain. However, the second tactic has been practically lost, and because first one, most of the aquifers are empty or contaminated. In fact, nobody drinks tap water anymore. Most people prefer to buy bottled water from the supermarket, but this water is imported from the peninsula following the same sea route we took to reach as Mercadal, like the tourists who come in summer despite COVID. During the residence, I devoted myself to identifying and photographing all structures and architecture linked to the water. Urban pipes, irrigation system, roofs, drains, swimming pools, wells, fountains, cisterns, amphora caves, holes, puddles, and clouds, among others, human and non-human interventions, traditional and contemporary elements to make the water landscape on the island, but a landscape which a turn cycle. In addition, I walked the circuit of pipes and tubes that carried the water to the town of Mercadal from the wells of Sarroca, crossing roads, fields, and several urban areas with a radio-controlled bottle, a way of inhabiting and pointing out the assumptions which have become invisible due to naturalization of the structures that related use to water. Now I continue the project and I put the new things I work in the website. These materials will be added to the project, the website project, sorry, at the last until it present to Albi and the end of the Deltart program. And this is.
Perfect, Roc. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. And we have finished the round of presentations. It's an hour that we share together. And right now, I would propose maybe to follow a bit these reflections and discussions that we started last Monday. Maybe Violeta, do you want to say something? Because you had an interesting thought last Monday that maybe could be also the kicking, no? Un punt de sortida, no? Un point de départ à nouveau pour réfléchir.
Yes, maybe not making the like talking about the last conversation going forward.
Good.
A veure si podem. I would like to know of each one, how are you developing your works or new works and projects with this state of semi-confination. So it's just to share how to develop these works that you are doing, or you have finished as a piece, because so many of you, like for example, Juan is a really close, it's an open field of researching, but at the same time is Menorca one day and that's it. But I would like to know what are you doing right now, and and how this process in Menorca has made some change in your practice or in your work. So maybe we can start with Roc first and then
Al revés.
sí, al revés. Sí, porque pobre Roc siempre espera. Vamos.
Let's start from the end.
Start from the end and thank you.
Vale. Bueno, esto sí, como no me lo he preparado, tendré que decirlo en castellano.
Cap problema, farem traducció després. Endavant.
Bueno, como comenté antes, el hecho de estar en Menorca me ha servido como para empezar una investigación por el hecho de cómo aprovechar los espacios de residencia que te transportan como a un espacio diferente al que normalmente estamos y además con otra geografía, pues para hacer como una investigación contextual. Y la verdad es que como durante el proceso aparecen, bueno, como que tienen sus dudas y sus altibajos, pero aún así es interesante que un espacio, bueno, que al 2 meses permiten como empezar más que profundizar, porque dan como parece mucho tiempo, pero pasan muy rápido. Entonces, bueno, creo que como que ha habido un punto de que ahora necesitaría volver. No sé si les pasa a los compañeros.
Companyeres, companyeros. Tradueixo ràpidament, només per francòfons perquè no es perdin en la traducció. Roc, en fait, ce qu'il dit, c'est que voilà, il a eu la chance de travailler dans un espace géographique précis qui lui a servi pour faire cette recherche contextuelle à propos de l'eau et les chemins de l'eau. Et ceci d'être 2 mois lui a produit des doutes et aussi des montées et des descentes qui sont propres du chemin même, mais que 2 mois lui ont permis de commencer la recherche, mais pas vraiment d'approfondir. Donc, ce qu'il envisagerait maintenant, c'est de revenir à Minorque, de pouvoir passer encore un peu de temps pour aller au-delà de ce départ de la recherche. Et il demandait aux autres résidents si vous aviez la même sensation d'un besoin d'aller encore à nouveau à Minorque.
Seguía Juan.
Okay. For me now, Menorca looks very far and looks like a dream, because for me it was a very pleasure to be there and stop and just focus in my projects, because normally in your daily life you have to be in a lot of things, to pay your rent, to pay your things, to pay for your food. So I don't know, this for me was important, to just focus in my things. And maybe you just see the result of the project, like all the picture in categorizations. But I think that I take 2 different things just in my personal work. That is one, before I was working also with archive, but I think that in this time I start to work in a more methodological way and more ordenado. How do you say? More, yeah,
structured,
organized. So this gives me a methodology, and also it gives me a lot to think, not only this project, but all different projects that are like in the same topic. No Menorca, but in the relation with the image, the society, and the personal subjectivity. So, yeah, I think that is in this
things.
Great. Selena?
Cecilia.
Yeah, I was thinking that Menorca was very much like a bubble, and everything I've worked on was very linked to folklore and even cliches of what artisanal work is or should be, or something like that. So, in a way, it was part of the project for me that the objects were going out of Menorca, going to Spain, which is closer than France, but still not the same territory. And what I really wanted to do with it was to make it evolve, and that the installation was going to be different for the three exhibitions. So it's going to be the case in Albi, because I also took pictures with a diapositive roll. So I'm going to work also with diapositives for Albi. And I'm still not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it, but it was, I mean, the fact that the objects were going to go out of Menorca was layers that were adding. And so even if I didn't do traditional objects, I used like traditional or things, endemic things from the island. And just to move it a little bit from the island to Spain and then to France, I think that was a way to create something else. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. And in a way, I thought of going back to Menorca also, but I don't know exactly if it's because, like Juan said, 2 months was both quite a long residency, but also not that much to really discover the island, because the first months or so, we didn't went around that much because it was very hot. And so it was very much like a tiny bubble, because it wasn't really, it was really Montalau. We were really in the farm most of the time and not going out that much because it was just way too hot.
Well, I think I speak in the name of Christian, but the house is always open. I mean, if you want to go back, you can. Obviously, you can. I would really be happy also to have the opportunity to be there with you in some point of the residency, but unluckily this summer was like crazy for everyone, also in personal and professional level. But yeah, these hard times forced us to do it differently, but we wanted also to be present at some part during the stay there. I see in the first three answers to the question that your work is really context-based, and this is happening in the six of you. And also you are thinking further, no? And also understanding very well one of the things internally in the team we were talking about just in the conception of the project, that is, how can we make the works and the researchers and the networks to be itinerant themselves, no? To be part of this travel between Menorca, Catalunya, no? and Occitanie. And I think we are in the good way if some of the works you did and you are still working on are in this logic. So I think it's really interesting, the work also of Roc that you were explaining more last Monday, also how you were conceiving the cycle of water, but also entering back to the mountains where the water is taken, no? And the water is put in some bottles and traveling to Menorca afterwards. So it's these logics, how you turn them out, no? And I think it's okay. You listened to me before? At all?
It just stops for a few seconds.
Okay, perfect. So you missed nothing. Sorry, you can add if you want, or we can continue with the with Marie?
If I can add something, I was just
Of course.
thinking that for Darla and I, it took us like 2 days to go to Menorca or something. So it was a weirdly long trip because a lot of people from Toulouse, that is like very close from where we live, goes to Menorca with a plane, and I think it takes like 2 hours or something. So Menorca is kind of one of the islands where lots of people go from Toulouse in a very easily, and just to do it with like the bus, train, boat thing, that was a very different perspective on that. And that was kind of funny because people just go for the weekend in Menorca from Toulouse because it's so fast to go there. And the way we did it, it was like, it just took us 2 days just to get there.
Actually, we thought also about this, Christian, or Antoine, you can also add about it. But the travel back for the works that are now in Menorca that need to travel to Albi, we wanted to conceive it also as a trip itself, because you need to charge the van of Christian and Sfar and coming to Barcelona and after going to Albi. So we will organize certainly something to go maybe together, or sort of a caravan or something. We will come out with news. Thank you, Célie. And Marina?
I think it's really interesting what you were saying, Célie, because we are so used to travel so fast, and to be conscious of the time that your body needs to arrive to a place is something that we just learn, I think, at least in these past few months, to understand how not how difficult, but how many resources and how many resources we are wasting every time we are moving to one place to the other. So to be conscious of the time and of the distance is a way of doing, of emphasizing in this moving or in this trip. And I think that's really interesting to think about it. And coming back to the question that Roc asked us about coming back to Menorca to continue with the processes, I think, maybe it would be necessary at some point, because, for example, in my case, it's really interesting to be, I have like both perspectives, because sometimes I'm in Barcelona, sometimes I'm in the Balearic Islands, but it's really different, the perspective that people have in Barcelona about the territory, and this contrast is somehow articulating the main research that I'm doing now, like to understand how people is affected by the territory when people is walking in the street cannot feel trapilla, like put your feet on the street. You can spend months without doing this, and that's something that affects your daily life for sure, and the way you relate to the territory. So yeah.
Darla, something?
Yeah, I think that I wanted to kind of echo what Célie was saying about, I think that one of the interesting aspects about having done the residency on this island and then having the exhibition be able to travel, well, hopefully, is that I had a sort of similar experience, I think, to her, in the sense that
I work a lot with sort of the natural landscapes, and so I basically spent my whole time filming in areas of the island. I intentionally didn't film any areas that had sort of obvious indications of human presence, which was really interesting to be able to do in Menorca because you have this whole incredible geological history of the island that is like really visible, especially on the coastlines. And so it becomes easy to, when you go to the coast and you see all these weird rock formations, I filmed so many images that were just of that, and it's very particular to the island. So in one sense, it really is representative of the landscapes that are there. And in the other sense, I remember at the opening in Menorca, I was talking with someone and she was saying, you know, I grew up here, and yet when I watch your film, I feel like I'm looking at images that are from like another planet, even though I know where you filmed that. Like every image she recognized, and she understood, you know, what beach I was on or which place I was, but yet it still was like a different vision of those places. And I think that for people who are from Menorca, they recognize that. And so it's one kind of experience with the work. And then obviously when it will be shown in Albi, or maybe would have been shown to, you know, people in Barcelona who have never been to the island, they have a different relationship with it because they don't know those places. And I think that the fact of being able to spend 2 months on this island in this residency, for me personally, was interesting because of the fact that I often work around, you know, with images of natural landscape, and I've never been to a place like that before. So inevitably, it's never sort of entered into my work to have this kind of a really strange geological presence in that way. So for me, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I just had so much fun, like filming on all the rocks.
Dramatically geological.
Yeah.
Geological love.
Thank you, Darla. Marta, have you something to add?
Do you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay, so for me, that I got the chance to do this residency as other ones that I did on past, and I guess I will do more in the future, is the fact that I was found to produce the Super 8 film, because it's a way to express myself through film, but it's very expensive. The material, the development, sending the materials back, and the telecine. So, you know, it's like when a painter works with acrylico or oleos, or, I mean, there's certain arts that are more expensive than other ones. And of course, actually, now with some digital cameras or other ways, I mean, it's cheaper to do film now, but I really feel a link to how can I express through film, but that's it. It's very expensive. So for me, I'm very happy that I had this chance to express myself on what I like and what I feel comfortable, and with what I think I can show an essence to the audience. I mean, like I think through film I can show something that suggests something. So I feel very lucky because of this. And about Menorca, I visit the island different times in past because I'm from Mallorca. But this time I had the chance to go with the other artists and also with some friends that visit the island and also by myself, especially to natural areas, especially beaches and calas. And for me it was very interesting, you know, because when you are spending a part of the summer there, you really have the chance to see, you know, for example, if we were going to a beach that was very crowded or touristic, I didn't want, you know, to get angry because there was a lot of people or just saying, oh, that sucks because there's a lot of tourists. No, I really enjoyed every moment because, as I said, I'm from Mallorca, and it's sad that some areas are underrated just because in certain times of the years there's more people visiting them, you know? So I really enjoyed the beaches that were a lot of people were there, and also the ones that there were like no one. For example, I remember one day I went with Darla and Célie, and Darla was filming, and you know, she's very how can I say it, brave, you know, because she was going by herself, and but I got the chance to go to that place, and we had to walk a lot, and yeah, it was nature, you know, just a cala, and we had to do a little hike, and so this experience was very interesting for me, and I'm willing to. I mean, I really would like to go to Albi because I have never been. I mean, I have never explored France, and also one of the leitmotifs of presenting myself to this call was because I have family from these three parts. You know, like a lot of generations ago from Paris. Well, Paris is in France, and now like the closest is from Barcelona and Mallorca and Menorca, no? So for me, it's well, at least I really know a lot Barcelona because I lived there for 10 years and I'm going back like every time. And it's like, okay, at least I know Barcelona a lot. And I mean, of course, it would have been very interesting and especially funny to gather all together there. And but yeah, so I hope we can go to Albi.
Of course. Thank you, Marta. We also hope to be able to do it and to make it to meet all together in Albi in March. At this point, I don't know. Do you want to add something, Antoine, Christian? You were like in silence until now. You want to share some feelings, ideas? The artist also welcome.
No, I'm just really interested in the way that they spend their time there and just discovering how everything happened. You know, that's fine. We're not the stars tonight.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Cristian, vols dir alguna cosa?
Jo tinc una pregunta, sí.
Endavant.
La meva pregunta seria si ara, mesos després de la residència, si sempre un poc xerrant del procés creatiu, si mesos després de la residència els artistes haguessin preferit tal vegada, en més de fer 2 mesos seguits, fer un mes i després un altre mes, més endavant. Ho comento també per el nostre debat intern, no?
Sí, sí, d'avaluació.
Per la segona per la segona edició de Delta s'està plantejant diferent, plantejaria aquesta pregunta, a veure l'expérience seva, no? Ja que se tenim aquí tots.
Vale, parfait. Alors, je vais traduire en français. C'est plus facile. 3 mois après la fin de la résidence, ce que Christian demande, en fait, c'est comment les artistes vous les voyez maintenant, après avoir fait la résidence de 2 mois à Minorque. Est-ce que vous auriez préféré, en fait, de faire 1 mois à ces moments-là et garder un 2e mois qui est détaché complètement dans le calendrier et avoir la possibilité de faire 1 mois plus 1 mois? Ou c'était bien déjà de le faire ainsi, ensemble? Peut-être, voilà. Pregunta abierta. Darla, start.
It was just to answer the question. For me, it was a good format because I think that, you know, there's always something that you want to change or keep working on, at least for me. In any case, it's hard to, you know, put a time limit on something like this, especially when you're doing a residency and it's not just a production residency, it's also kind of, you know, sort of the whole point of the residency was also to be exploring this whole relationship between these 3 geopolitical regions and this island. So it's obviously really hard to sort of pretend to get to know this place and then sort of have enough information to be able to work off of that and make some work out of it. But that being said, I think that a longer duration or a more spread out duration tends, at least for, like, this is just my personal reaction, I think that it's hard when you don't have a kind of deadline, and it sort of forces you to sort of cinch up the information that you have and be kind of like, okay, this is what I have, you know, this was my archaeological dig, so now what do I do with this? So for me, it was a good format because it sort of allowed 1 month of sort of looking around and observing, and then 1 month of really being like, okay, I have to finish this film.
Juan, adelante.
Like, I'm agree with Darla, because also when I arrive, I know what I want to investigate, but I really don't know exactly what I want to do. So like 2 weeks or 3 weeks in Menorca, I start to really focus in the project and to do it. So if I have to stop in the first month, it's like, whoa, like, you know, but maybe will be interesting, but if you change what you ask for the artist, you know, maybe if you go with a more specific project, so you arrive to Menorca and you start to do things, and then you know that you will stop, you will, and you have time to think more, to analyze the material that you get, and then the other month. But if you do this, for me, you have to go to the residence with a very clear idea to arrive and do something. If you want that the people arrive to Menorca and think the project there, maybe just separate the 2 months will be like, wow, but I just start to do it this, you know? I don't know if I say what I want to mean.
Yo creo que sí que te entendimos, Juan. Roc, endavant, sí. Y después la Marta, ¿vale?
Sí, yo igual estoy de acuerdo con lo que ha dicho Juan, en el sentido de que el formato de separar la residencia en 2 tiempos distintos dependerá, creo que funciona así, dependiendo mucho del proyecto que se pueda hacer y que permite como quizás focalizar qué pasa en cada una de sus temporalidades y que una sea como trabajo de campo y pensar qué hacer o hacer investigación, y que la otra tenga como un focus más de producción o con un sentido más resolutivo, o que esté muy claro qué es lo que se vaya a hacer anteriormente. Eso.
Gracias, Roc. Pour la traduction en français, c'est nécessaire? Vous avez compris?
Non, ça va.
En fait, il est d'accord avec Juan. Il dit que si les projets il est vraiment ciblé et bien réfléchi à l'avance, tu peux le faire, mais sinon, impossible de faire 2 mois séparés. Marta, volies afegir alguna cosa?
Realment el mateix que... O sigui, en el cas de fer cine sí que és... o un projecte audiovisual crec que és més... sorry, I didn't realize I was talking in Catalan. I think it's better to work in a continuous way in case of film, you know? And also to organize personal life. And I just remember something that Darla said, and I forgot. So I would like to have a minute. I really liked what Darla said about that people from Menorca that saw her short film were like, oh, this looks like it's another planet. So I really like, you know, to see on other artists' artworks and also on my own work, you know, how people and we can individually create these dimensions of, I mean, I can, that's why I work with symbolism and essence, you know, and I sometimes call the type of movies that I do cinema de las emocions, like film of emotions, that when someone creates an atmosphere and when someone arrives to this point, like if it's even something metaphysic. I mean, when you see a movie and you scratch and there is much more, you know, content that you can read, I think that's when a film is good. So I really like the Another Planet thing.
That's nice also to hear the feedback of the people living in Menorca, no, that visit the exhibition, as Christian shared last Monday. And no, I think it's also helpful for the research, but also for the presentation part. Some other reflections about this process and
I think the 2-part format could be really interesting in terms of getting a return, but I also understand that it's really difficult, as Marta said, to organize personal lives with 2 moments. Also maybe, I don't know, maybe it could be like 1.5 months and then 2 weeks, and more like a research part and a production part. But I think 2 months is like a very good time to think and produce something, like not a finished piece, of course, but something that can be shown.
Yeah, it's perfect, and I think this format, finally we decided to do it this way because we also have previous experiences with Tunis and Algiers. We started with a residency program of 3 months, and finally we realized that it was maybe too long for the artist, and they were like all alone, like living an experience of residency. But we decided to do it differently and involve 3 artists at a row that could exchange, one coming from every town, and living together this experience of 2 months. No, and I think based on this and also knowing better the context of Asmarcadal with Christian and also the experience of Lele, finally we decided this way. But obviously, if instead of accepting artists to spend 2 months to discover and to get in touch with the contact with the context that with other artists, we were thinking about a very directed project, like a production part of a project that is really well conceived. It could be in another format, no, like stepping in the three parts of the map to getting these improvements. In any case, you know that also the process of production, the works were shown in Alayo, but we were also considering this possibility that the works needs to be adapted to be shown in Barcelona and after finally in Albi. So we also understand that your work is in ongoing process, and also with the time you could adapt the final presentation in an exhibition mode, no? So this is also conceived.
Yeah, I will get in touch with all of the artists to discuss that and check if there are some things to adjust, of course, because the exhibition space is different, so we'll have to discuss that together.
Yeah, perfect, because they are really installed in a specific way, so every space can adjust it in adding some elements or not. So, some other elements that you want to share? Thank you very much for consecrating this time to the project, because you are all of you there. We feel really lucky to be possible that this is possible. Also, Eva, to be staying until the end. Muchas gracias. I don't know. Would you add something to?
I want to add something. ¿Qué espera? ¿Quién ha hablado?
Just very quick. I've been taking a lot of notes, and I definitely wanna hopefully knock on wood that this is gonna go to Albi, because I think that it was such a shame that I missed the opportunity to see all these works in real exhibition.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
We will do it, Eva. Just when the date will be confirmed, we will organize the trip to Albi, maybe in this caravan mode, or I don't know, biking or running, just to feel the territory under the
corner. Yeah,
it's really close.
Anything that can do with driving is around the corner. We can do it.
Hopefully, March will be much better than it is right now. Well, thank you very much to everyone being there, and let's keep in touch by email. As you know, we are always there, and we'll be happy to.
I want to add something Marta, at the end.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, it's because I'm forgetting what I was going to say, but for me the whole experience between we artists, I think it's very constructivo. Like we grow because we also discussed about art, and I mean it's obvious when you gather different people and they do their different projects. But for me, has been very interesting to see at what levels of emotions or sensibility we have, and how we see art. Because. Darla sees in another way, Marina in another, Roc, Célie, and I think it's beautiful, that sometimes you can, like, oh no, I think this is this, oh no, I think this is that, but it's beautiful that at the end we are sharing, different perspectives about what is art, and that's it.
Thank you, Marta. I think this is perfect because is one of the parts of the experience of the residency project as we think about it. It's not only production or research, but the whole experience that we allow young artists also to exchange, to meet, to develop ideas and maybe possible future projects. So we are happy to listen also this. Moltes gràcies a totes i a tots. Merci beaucoup. À très bientôt.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Charles.
Gràcies.
gràcies a tots.
Thank you,
Adeu.
everyone.
A vosaltres, moltes
Bye.
gràcies.
Adeu,
Have a
adeu.
good weekend.
Gràcies a tots.
You too.